Welcome to Two Chicks and a Horror Flick, a weekly horror movie review podcast. I'm Tawny Ray.
And I'm Felicia Connor. Subscribe to get new episodes every Wednesday. We dive into trivia, drink a little whiskey, and of course, give our no BS opinions.
Join our Discord server or message us on social media to talk all things scary.
And if you like the show, consider supporting us on Patreon.
You can find all these links on our website, twochicksandahorrorflick.com. Thanks for listening.
Now let's get scared.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about Bride of Chucky, which was our patron pick for February and our theme of horror romance. So this was it. We got a lot of suggestions, but this one won. And actually, in some ways, I feel like this was a fantastic pick for this theme. And we can get more into that later.
Yeah, there's lots of romance in this one. Multiple romances.
There was. Yes, which you don't usually see in a horror movie. So, but yeah, Felicia, what are you drinking before we get into all of that?
I am really excited because I have been going down this non-alcoholic, trying a bunch of beverages. There's so much more than when I did this, 2 years ago? I think when I was venturing down there, there's so much more stuff. So today, I'm not going to tell you everything. I'll tell you one an episode. I have found the most amazing. It's like, it's almost like a Guinness. And this is kind of what it reminds me of, like this dark beer. This is what it looks like.
Okay.
It tastes just like it, like a malt beer. And it's called Busty Lush She's Divine Oatmeal Stout. Well, it's just going to be like really,
fun.
It tastes exactly like a stout beer. It's kind of, I think there is like some, it says caramely, toffee, chocolatey, but it's not like a chocolate beer. It doesn't taste like that. It tastes like a stout. I gave Steve a sip of it and he's like, ugh, all right. And he tried it and he was like, oh my God, that tastes almost exactly like a Guinness.
Wow. Okay, cool. Where did you get it?
I highly recommend. Got it at Total Wine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I feel like this market is getting much bigger. Like even just a couple years ago, it's not that long, you know?
Yeah, that's not that long. But now when I log in and type in non-alcoholic, there's so much more inventory. And so many more options. I bought several different ones that I'll talk about on different episodes. So I don't have to go on and on today. But yeah, a lot of them really good. And they're opening it up. So again, it's not just like a fruity, overly fruity seltzer water or even an underly fruity one. It's not like I'm just drinking a seltzer water or some type of a juice. It actually is like I'm drinking a cocktail.
Wow. Okay, cool.
How about you?
I need to do a little exploring. I have a ginger ale.
Ooh.
Just a classic ass Canada Dry ginger ale today.
Classic. Well, if you want to mix it up, I just saw that Blake Lively, because she doesn't drink, but she has her own line of mixers called Buzzy Betty, or I'm going to have to look it up and share. But I think she has a ginger ale. That's the reason I said that. If you want to expand your ginger ale repertoire, yes.
I'm not even really that into ginger ale. I just I don't know. I got some last time to make some mocktails, and then I was like, it's kind of nice having some ginger ale around, you know? But it's like the only time I ever drink ginger ale is on a plane when they come around and do the little free drinks.
That's always what I get. Always ginger ale. Me too. It's something psychological if this is going to be soothing to you. Because it's also what I would drink ginger ale and saltines when I was a kid and I was not feeling well.
Yes. And it's supposed to be good for your stomach. So I'm always like, it's not like my stomach hurts on the airplane, but I'm like, but what if it does? You know, like I got to be prepared. I'm going to drink this ginger ale. It's going to help me.
I swear we're twins. It's exactly the same. I don't venture any other way. It's always the ginger ale because I have the exact same thoughts in my head.
What the fuck? That's funny. Okay, what else have you been doing, watching?
Okay, I've been really excited to tell you about this. I've just switched it up this week. All right, so Wednesday, I was feeling, to get real, really depressed. Like depressed. I didn't want my family to talk to me. I felt so bad at work because I was on a Zoom call and two of my team members who I absolutely adore got promotions, and I probably looked depressed because I was, but not because of their promotions. I felt
Right.
so bad.
Yeah.
And so Steve came in, he's just like, what's going on? We were talking about it. And I was like, maybe it's because I'm drinking too many adaptogens in that DeSoy, or maybe it's because I had one old fashioned on President's Day and that's the alcohol. And I was going through all this stuff. And he said, babe, I want you to just tell me, how much true crime have you been watching? And when I thought about it, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, I probably listened to 5 to 6 hours of true crime. And this is why, or this is how, when I cook, when I do laundry, when I unpack, when I do anything like that, I plug in my AirPods and turn on a true crime show. And I was doing a lot of that over the past 3 days. And he's like, okay, I just do me a favor for 1 week. Don't watch any true crime or horror. The only horror you can watch is for the podcast. And so I did. It's been very hard because it's a default now. Yeah. It's kind of a habit. So instead, what I've been watching was like one night I went in and I was like, all right, I'm going to make dinner. Oh shit, I don't even know how to make dinner without the true crime. So I've like, you know what? I'm going to listen to writers, everything on writing and books and all of that. That's what I'm going to do. And so I just want to shout out, I've been watching Write with Claire Fraze on YouTube. She is amazing. She's an award-winning young adult author. And she wrote like Thriller, the They Stay series. She interviews like horror writers and just teaches you how to write. She totally taught me how to do a plot grid. And I did a plot grid yesterday and plotted out like 40 lines of my entire story. It was absolutely amazing. I also watched the YouTube channel, The Plotterly, which is also just writing tips and tricks, makes you feel like you can succeed at this. Both of those do. I love it. And then Scribbler, which is this monthly box that comes there where you get a signed book and like a bunch of writer treats and thingamajiggers. In it is also a postcard where you can watch. They have guests every month, literary agents, editors, authors, all kinds of people. And I just have been binging those because they keep them saved for a little while. So I've just been going back and binging all of that, which then in turn, I have plotted my book and then I did a whole grid plot of it. I just need to finish up a couple more character backgrounds and then I'm just going to write. I've just been every single day on this thing. And so it feels really good. So I just wanted to share
awesome.
That. Yeah. I'm so like high on life right now. And the last thing that I saw was Pam and Tommy on Hulu. So good, you guys. Go watch this. I wasn't sure about it. It has Sebastian Stan and Lily James. God, he is so good. They're both so good. I just had no idea. And I love these things where you learn kind of like a different side because I only knew of the sex tape and, probably figured that they released it themselves, whatever. It's a really good one. Also has Seth Rogen and I can't believe I'm forgetting his name, but our guy from that one episode of Offerman.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Nick
Offerman. He's in it too. It's really, really well acted. It's a really great series. I highly recommend it. All right. That's all I got.
Jade watched the documentary or whatever. I don't remember what it was called, but the one with Pam. Mm-hmm. And I didn't watch it with him because I was doing something, but he like relayed all the information to me. Like he told me about the story. And so that was really interesting to hear. Like, it was really unfortunate. It sucks that the way that it was handled, it sounded like, for especially Pam,
Yeah, it's
Pamela.
She really reminds me of the whole, like a Marilyn Monroe story, like she was turned into this really sexy bombshell. She wanted to be taken seriously. And then just, I don't know. I had a lot more respect for her and I felt really bad for really bad. For them. It's a great show. You should watch it. All right, Tawny,
Okay,
how
good to
about
know.
you?
Well, I want to go back to the true crime. Do you, in fact, think it was the true crime making you depressed?
It could be. Here's the problem. Probably, it probably is, because just like I'd mentioned, sometimes when I watch things, that anything where it's suggested that a child is hurt, then I don't really notice it in the moment, but the next day I feel depressed. So that is a thing. But I also think it was the adaptogens. From all the different types of adaptogens I've had over my life, I've noticed ones from like some mushrooms that make you feel calm. Anything that I take that might, if it says helps your hormones, balancing hormones or mood, sometimes that affects me in the opposite way, and I do feel depressed. Just for the DeSoy, because I talked about it before, all of them tasted good. My favorite one was the golden hour, because it actually used maca root, which isn't like one of the mushrooms that I can't pronounce. And I felt it was yummy, and I felt happy. Like I didn't feel dulled, if that makes sense. So I think it was a combination of drinking way too many adaptogens and binging way too much true crime.
Gotcha. And you never know what's going on. I feel like I go through cycles, right? Like sometimes it just is, I just feel down more than I would other weeks. Mm-hmm. And so, that could have been it too. Like,
everything compounded all into one.
Yeah. Hormonal changes or fluctuations or whatever on top of true crime and adaptogen.
Yeah, because I said to Steve, I said, okay, so next week I will still cut down my true crime. I'll just watch 4 episodes a week. And he goes, 4? He doesn't understand, because he doesn't like hearing any of it, because it's so depressing. I'm like, okay, well, maybe like I'll start with 2 and see. I gotta know. Oh, let me just tell you one more thing, Tawny. I'm sorry. But I was telling him, I pop into my YouTube to pull up another video, and it's like, you'll never guess what's in this house of horrors. And I'm like, oh my God, what's in this house of horrors? So I scroll past, and it's like, they adopted 2 children, and you'll never know what happened next. Oh my God, what happened next? And this is just how I felt as I scrolled through the thing.
Yep. Manufactured interest is like all by design.
Yes.
I totally get it. I really have only watched a couple things because it's been busy. We, have been looking for a house. Our lease is up at the end of April. So we're like ramping up the search, because we get, it's like, we kind of got to start now. Like, I don't know what's going to happen. We're going to get our letter here probably this coming week about like how much they're going to increase our rent. And then that will, I think, affect how, what happens from there. It's like, do we re-sign a lease while we keep looking? Do we try to really hard to get into something? But anyway, we went and looked at another house this last week, put in an offer, did not accept because they got a cash offer. Gonna go look at another one today. I know, it's just like, it's fucking chaos out here with this housing market, I swear to God. And I keep telling people, and they're like, I can't believe it's like that still. But it is, like people are offering to waive the inspection. That's how we lost that first one. They are offering all cash. So it's really kind of challenging. But we've seen more houses come on the market this last week than we have in a long time. So that seems promising, but it's like been so busy, because that's so emotionally exhausting. The process of going and looking and like putting together the offer and then like waiting to hear back,
and putting all your hope into it. Yeah.
So just a lot of that, and that's going to continue. So just not a lot of bandwidth, I feel like. But what I did watch was, I'm getting back to my little list here. Jade and I started and finished Andor over like the last week or 2. I can't remember if we talked about this.
Last time you said that you were just now getting into it. Like you weren't sure.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, the first few episodes were like iffy, and I was really not enjoying it, but Jade made me keep watching because Justin had recommended it to us. But oh my God, we finished it yesterday, and it got so good. Like, I don't think I've ever done this big of a change from the beginning to the end of a season, but it got really, really, really good. So that was good. That's mainly the thing. And then just while I've been doing chores and stuff, I've been rewatching Outlander. I love that show. It does get fucking crazy though. I was like talking to Jade and I was like, God, this show gets wild. Do you remember this whole subplot where they went around as like a traveling carnival act to find a missing person? Do you remember this? I don't know.
I didn't finish it.
It's wild.
I need to finish it. I think this was
like, but how far did you get in? Like a couple seasons?
Yeah, maybe. I'm trying to think.
Oh, they were married. I'm remembering.
I don't know the sequence of how the things happened.
Yeah, I think that is later.
Okay.
Yeah.
The only thing I remember is that sex scene over and over again. Yeah. It was so great. There's probably a lot of them, but there's one in particular that's the last one I saw.
Yeah, that's it though. That's it for me.
Fun. But that's okay because I said a lot in the beginning.
Okay, so we were ready to jump into Bride of Chucky.
Yes.
All right. So this was from 1998. The director was Ronny Yu, who also did Freddy vs. Jason. And this person also did a bunch of other movies, but none of which were in the horror genre or that I recognized. So they've done a lot, but that was the only one I took note of. Then for cast, we have Jennifer Tilly plays Tiffany. Brad Dourif, of course, plays Chucky. Katherine Heigl plays Jade. Nick Stable plays Jesse. Alexis Arquette plays Damien. Gordon Michael Wolvett plays David. And John Ritter plays Chief Warren Kincaid. And I just wanted to throw in a little honorable mention here. I don't know how to say her name, but Kathy Najimy? Najimy. It plays the hotel maid.
Yes. Okay, Hocus Pocus.
Yeah.
Yes. I love her.
Yeah. She's so great. And I feel like she's everywhere. Like, Jade is rewatching King of the Hill. And so, like, over lunch, whenever he goes out into the living room and eats lunch. And she played Peggy Hill, the voice of Peggy Hill.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I've been, like, listening to her a lot. And, yeah, I was like, I think that's Kathy Najimy. And we looked it up, and it is.
She's the spokeswoman for Laura Geller Makeup, Laura Geller Cosmetics. Saw her on there, too.
I didn't know. And also, I watched, like, a couple episodes of this show called Bee and Puppy Cat. It's like a cartoon, like a very weird cartoon show from several years ago that's on Netflix now. She was like the voice of something in there, and I picked up on it immediately. I was like, I think that's Kathy Najimy. We had to like look it up, but I was like, yeah. Jade was like, how can you hear that? Like, I don't know. You just been listening to a lot of Peggy Hill, and you're like, I know that voice, you know?
Yes.
Anyway, okay, for scores, we have IMDb gave this a 5.5 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes gives it a 47%. Letterboxd gave it a 3.2 out of 5. And the last one I noted was Google users, because 82% of them liked this movie. And I just thought, you know what? You know who's easy to please? This Google user group. Okay, they always have a higher score than everybody else. I don't know what that's about, but...
If you're releasing anything out into the world, just look at the Google user score.
Yeah, stick to that. You'll feel good about it. Budget was $25 million, which actually, I have a note here, is the most expensive Chucky / Child's Play movie to date so far. It's $25 million.
Least expensive or most expensive? Sorry.
Most expensive.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And then the box office was $50.7 million. So, yeah, made double, at least. And then I have a kind of long 2 minutes with Tawny, because I ripped it from Wikipedia. Any notes before we continue on?
No. I'm excited to hear what you've got. I said that long drawn out so you could have a break in between
Thanks.
Talking.
You saw me taking a drink. Yeah.
Yes.
Thanks. Okay, here we go. Turn back now if you don't want this spoiled for yourself. Set in and we should probably note also at this moment, this is number 4 of the series. We have only ever reviewed and talked about number 1. Mm-hmm. So then we got 2 and 3, and this is number 4 in the series. So set in 1998, Tiffany, a former lover and accomplice of serial killer Charles Lee Ray, bribes a police officer into giving her the dismembered parts of the Chucky doll from an evidence locker before murdering him. Tiffany stitches and staples Chucky back together and reenacts the voodoo ritual which had instilled Ray's soul inside the doll 10 years prior. Though her incantations appear to fail, Chucky comes alive and smothers Tiffany's goth admirer Damien to death with a pillow as Tiffany watches in excitement. Tiffany presents Chucky with a ring he had left behind the night he was killed, which she believed to be an engagement ring. When Chucky explains he never intended on marrying Tiffany, she locks him in a playpen and taunts him with a bride doll. Chucky escapes the playpen and murders Tiffany by electrocuting her in a bathtub. He then transports her soul into the bride doll and says they must retrieve a magical amulet that was buried with his human body in order to transfer their souls into the body of Tiffany's neighbor Jesse and his girlfriend Jade. Tiffany calls Jesse and asks him to take the 2 dolls to Hackensack, New Jersey, where Ray's body is buried, in exchange for money. Eager to elope with Jade, Jesse accepts the offer. Jade's strict uncle, Police Chief Warren Kincaid, plants a bag of marijuana in Jesse's van to frame him. Chucky and Tiffany rig a trap which embeds several nails into Warren's face and then hides his body within the van. Jesse and Jade begin their trip. The 2 are pulled over by Officer Norton, who finds the marijuana in Jesse's van. After Norton returns to his patrol car to report it, Chucky stuffs a shirt into the car's gas tank and lights it on fire. The car explodes with Norton inside, and Jesse and Jade flee the scene. They both begin to suspect that one of them might have caused the incident and begin to distrust each other. Despite their issues, Jesse and Jade get married. While at a hotel, another couple steals Jesse's money. As the couple have sex in their room, Tiffany murders them by causing them to be impaled by glass shards. Seeing this, Chucky proposes to Tiffany and the 2 have sex. The following day, while driving, Chucky and Tiffany reveal their plan to Jesse and Jade. They steal an RV to evade the police, where Jesse and Jade instigate a fight between Chucky and Tiffany. In the commotion, Jade locks Tiffany into an oven, Jesse pushes Chucky out the window, and the RV crashes into a ditch. Chucky forces Jade to take him to his gravesite while Jesse follows. Wow, there's so many, similar names.
Jesse, Jade.
Chucky, Tiffany, they're
Jesse,
all I'm struggling.
Every single sentence has every single name.
Right. I tried to kind of pare this down a little bit, but I did not do a very good job.
No, it's good. It's good. I'm following.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to start back here. Obeying Chucky's orders, Jade retrieves the amulet from the casket. As Chucky begins the incantation, Tiffany kisses him and stabs him with a knife. A battle ensues, and Tiffany collapses after being stabbed in the heart by Chucky. Jesse knocks Chucky into his own grave with a shovel. Now, private investigator Lieutenant Preston arrives and sees Chucky walking and talking in the grave. Jade grabs Preston's gun and shoots Chucky several times in the chest, killing him. After contacting the police and declaring the teens innocent, Preston sends the couple on their way home. As he inspects Tiffany's body, she springs awake and starts screaming, giving birth to a baby doll which attacks Preston. The end. Wow.
That was a lot.
Felicia, you had seen this before, right? You had watched this in the first. Okay. Go on. So now your second watch.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. What did you think about this movie?
I love this movie. It's so, when I'm watching it, the acting is not stellar. Some of the graphics look silly. It seems just so absurd. And I love every bit of it. I enjoyed watching it from beginning to end. It felt, comforting. It was just so great. Yes. I loved it. Even at the very end, when the baby came out, I forgot. Because we did skip a couple and we're watching this one, and I knew the next one was the Seed of Chucky, but I don't even remember how the Seed of Chucky starts and how that whole story goes. I forgot that the baby came out at the end. I loved it. I was like, oh, yeah. Oh, the baby. I love this movie. I had so much fun.
I feel the same way. I fucking love this movie. It's fucking unhinged. It's weird. It's wild. It's very 90s. Like you said, like some of the acting is not great. And I will probably make fun of a lot of things in this movie as we talk about him. But I still love it. And I agree that it is like, it's a comfort watch. Like and it's probably because I watched it when I was very young. Which is weird because like I don't know, but it has this nostalgic feel, you know?
Yeah.
You're just like,
it has totally a nostalgic feel. And I don't even know that I saw all the Chuckies because I saw the first one, but I definitely was, as you guys know, a Michael Myers fan. And that was my main thing that I liked. But watching all these Chuckies, God, I just loved them.
Yeah. We talked about this a lot, I think, in our first episode. Like Don Mancini and David Kirshner, the producer on these movies, like they've been with it from the beginning, right? And I don't know. There's like this level of love that I feel like you can feel in the movies that they really bring to it. They really care about it, and they weave in things. You know, like they come back later and weave in things from earlier in the series, and it's just like it's really great. I think for that reason, as it feels like a little bit more consistent to me than other slasher horror franchises. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's just so fucking wild and fun. It's so short. I didn't realize like it's like an hour and a half and it is fucking jam-packed nonstop shit. I was watching this one like Felicia's not going to say that this time. She's going to be like, there's no fucking downtime in this movie.
No. And it doesn't feel like, that's definitely out the window for this one. There's not one point where I felt it dragged at all. It's just go, go, go. Everything makes sense. Everything leads into the next scene really nicely. There's no filler. One thing that did hold up really good, though, was the movements of the dolls and the way the dolls look when they're walking and when they're moving. I thought that still looked really, really great.
I do, too. It's one of the things that I love about this franchise. Like, there's just something about the combination of having actual people dressed up as them. And then sometimes there's like an animatronic puppet. Mm-hmm. And then sometimes it's just a puppet, you know, that they're moving around on a stage or whatever. And the combination of those things to look the way that it does, I just feel like is so good. And it just, I don't know how to explain it. It's just so unique to this franchise. You don't really get that in any of the other ones. And so I just love it. I love watching it. And it's such a feat, you know, like I feel like it had to have been hard. But Jade even came and caught like a couple seconds of it. And he was like, I bet this was so fucking fun to make, you know?
Yeah.
And I was like, totally.
Yeah, I agree. And I just love Jennifer Tilly. I mean, it's not like this impeccable acting, like, wow, but she's just, I love her character. She's like so sexy and silly and like really, really dark, you know, like she's likes to kill and stuff like that, but has this like love and sentimental part of her. I don't know. It just doesn't seem like that works, but it totally works. It's believable that she likes darkness and killing and things like that, but she also likes love. I don't know. She makes it work.
I agree. I love her. I love her character. They like, I watched an interview with Don Mancini where he talks about like the idea was always to bring someone in and have that person be like opposite from Chucky in a lot of ways, because he was saying that they were really kind of playing on like the rom-com aspect of movies as well. Mm-hmm. And like that's how it goes, is you have like two opposites attract. But I think, what's brilliant about it is that you also have the ways that they're similar, right? They're both murderers. And so that's how they have a connection. But at the same time, she is very opposite than him and wants to settle down and get married and is like, loves Martha Stewart. And it's like this just very interesting dichotomy in this character. And it's like seared into my brain. I feel like I was, you know how people are like, when you see something when you're young and it like just formed your, like, I don't know, just your aesthetic things and what you like. I feel that about the beginning of this movie for sure. Like the whole sequence of her boyfriend coming over and like trying to bring Chucky back to life and like, you know, her like black leather dress and all of that. Yes. Like, I don't know. It's like seared into the back of my brain and just created like, I don't know, this aesthetic, this Tiffany aesthetic in my brain, because then the little doll version of her is like perfect also.
Yes.
I love it.
Oh yeah, when she changes and dresses up when she's a doll, I want both of those dolls. There's something with that too, like when she was sewing him together and they show you, like, they start at the feet and they scan up Chucky and then you see him. Like, I get goosebumps. I'm like, there's Chucky. I'm like so happy about it. And then with her, I would love to have those two dolls. I know they exist. I would love to have them.
Oh yeah, they definitely do.
Yeah.
This is my favorite Chucky. I think I might have said that in our first episode. This is my favorite version, is just this like Frankenstein ass together.
Oh yeah.
I love it.
Yes. All right. So it made me want to binge all of these again. And I've mentioned it before, I believe, but Ashlyn loves Chucky. And she watched the first one with me, and then she binged them all with me. And before anybody gets any kind of freaked out, she doesn't watch any of the killing. She, like, if something's about to happen, and I like that about Chucky, I think, something is about to happen.
Oh yeah.
There's like no surprise. And so she'll turn her head away, or I'll turn her head. Like, she doesn't watch like the sexy time things. And she'll be going like this, and she'll be like, just let me know when I can look. Like, it doesn't bother her. She doesn't try to look. And when we first turned it on, she was like, oh my God, Mom, please, if you're watching Chucky again, please, can I watch it with you? So we sat down, and she was like, oh yeah, because what did she say? He was blended up, right? So that's why he's in a bag. Yeah. And I'm like, was that what? Do you mean melted? And she goes, no. It wasn't when he was melted. It's when he was blended up. And like, she was like recalling. And I'm like, oh shoot, you know what? I don't remember. I remember bits and pieces of all of them, but I don't really remember what led into this one. Or what, now I know what leads into the Seed of Chucky, but I wasn't remembering. And she was talking to me about it. She's like, when he was like, I'm going to kill you, Tiffany, she was like, well, he's not going to kill her because they have a baby together. And I was like, oh yeah, that's right. So it was just a lot of fun. She really likes Chucky. She slept just fine and went to bed. Just so
okay, good to know.
But yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, she's not wrong though. He does get basically blended up by a gigantic fan. I mean, spoiler for episode or installment 3, but if the fact that we're talking about number 4, of course he survives in some way.
Yes, exactly. That's crazy that she remembered that. That's crazy.
I know. That blew my mind too. I'm surprised. Wow. I just feel like it's so, I don't know. I feel like the deaths of him are so iconic, at least in those first few. Like, I remember them also, Yes. And they always kind of pick up where like the last one left off. So I don't know. It's burned into my memory.
Oh yeah. When they were in the very beginning and they're going through and you see all the classic killers, and she was like, Mom, there's Jason, there's Freddy. Why are all these people? Why did they have all their things? And I'm like, well, I think it's saying that they caught these people. And Chucky is one of these famous slashers. And she's like, oh, wow, that's so cool.
Yeah, I heard that Dawn had said that was planned for like a different movie, like Chucky 2, the second one, is that the doll would be in this like evidence room full of other killings. And so they kind of exist in this universe together.
Yeah.
But they must not have been able to use it for some reason. So they reused it for this. What I liked about that is, I don't know what the vibe was like in 1998, right? I was too young to like know about horror. Like, I don't know how people felt about horror movies at the time. Because like when people talk about, slashers, they do talk about Michael Myers, Jason, Freddy. And now I do think people include Chucky in that group, but I don't know if they always did. And so I felt like it was maybe like a little, a nod to, hey, Chucky's on the same level as these other slashers,
Oh, that's cool. I like that even more now. Because I don't remember.
I don't know if that was the intent, but.
Yeah, I don't remember back when, if, how that was seen either. But now, definitely. Because when you're looking at slasher things, they always have Chucky there, and Pennywise, and different people like that. Talk about romance, because there was so much romance. You have Chucky and Tiffany. You have the two teens, Jade and Nick, right?
Jade and Jesse.
Jesse. His real name is Nick, huh? You even have their friend who is talking about like different romances that he has. You have the newlywed couple that die an epic death at the at the honeymoon suite. So you have lots of different romances going on. I thought that was a lot of fun.
I feel like the mirror scene, the mirror death scene is probably, I wrote it down. I was like, this has got to be one of the most like creative deaths in all of horror movies that I've seen. Like, I don't even think I understood it when I saw it the first time because I was a kid. I'm sure I told this story, but the first time I saw this, I must have been like, it came out in 98, so I was 7. I must have seen it when I was like anywhere from like 8 to maybe 12, somewhere in there. Too young, definitely too young to watch it. Snuck down to a neighbor's house and probably watched it without any adult knowing. And I remember being so confused. Like, I just didn't understand what was happening because I had never seen like a mirror above a bed. I was like, what the hell? And it's not entirely clear until they show the picture of them way later, like impaled by all the glass. Mm-hmm. But man, this was great. I love it. I love the like insanity of it.
Yes.
And this fucking waterbed, the blood is like coming up. I mean, this is where the budget went right here, right? And some of the explosions later. But anyway, just had to take a moment for that. But agree, yeah, there's so much romance. And I feel like you never see. Because at first I thought, we thought of this, right? This movie when we were talking about which movies to pick. But then I was like, it's not really what I want to watch because there's not like there's not a positive romance story, right? Because in the end, Chucky kills, quote unquote, Tiffany. So it doesn't end up a happy story. But the other couple, they do get to like just go and live their lives, you know?
Yeah, it's so simple. And you would think that I would hate how absurd this is. And I just loved it. It was just clean. The cop just was on the phone and said, they had nothing to do with it. And then both of them went, oh, thank God. And then they walked away. This is absolutely nuts because if you, there's so much. How do you explain? How do you explain all of the deaths, all of the murder, the dead person in their van, the cop guy, the blowing up, everyone saw them. No. It literally just takes the captain going, yeah, man, they didn't do it.
I know.
So great.
I like how even right before that, he goes, no one's going to believe this, right? And then he's like, well, got to tell him on the phone. Didn't do it. Like, I don't think that's how that works. You'd at least have to stay and make a statement, you know?
You would have to explain why you think they didn't do it when all of the evidence points to them. Well, yeah. I guess their van is burned, but you're going to have the cop's body with all the nails in his face in there.
Didn't they say, though, there's a point in the movie where they say they found the fingerprints of Charles Lee Ray.
You're right. On the news, they said that.
Yeah. Which, like, let's just set aside for a sec how fucking ridiculous that is. Because this doll is not going to have Charles Lee Ray's fingerprints, let alone fingerprints at all. Let's just set that aside. Okay, but we're not.
Because I was curious. I'm just giving it a little, I totally agree. And then I thought, well, when she cried, is it when they, if they don't do the transition soon enough out of the body into a different body, they are stuck in the doll body forever and they become more human? Or is that, am I mixing two movies up? Or that's...
No, that is definitely, I think, is canon. Like, I think that happens in the third movie. Maybe the second, I can't remember, but there is a point when it's like he gets, or maybe it's the second when he gets his arm chopped off, blade hand Chucky, when it's like, no, I'm bleeding, and I shouldn't be bleeding, but I'm bleeding because I'm becoming.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. Yeah. All right. So maybe they develop fingerprints too? It's stupid.
I mean, I guess none of it makes sense, but yeah, that one's like a stretch for me. Like, why would it take on, I don't know. I don't buy it, but sure, whatever. I think that's one of those like weird unhinged things in this movie that I'm like, okay.
Yeah, and I wonder what it is about this movie that makes us do that, because I agree. When they said they found Charles Lee Ray's fingerprints, I thought, but he's a doll. And then you know what I did? I went, oh, well. And then I just moved on.
Yeah.
It didn't bother me at all.
You just forgive it. You just go, you know what? This is already absurd. And like, it's something that Don has talked about before, where he's like, we didn't want to keep making the same movie over and over again, especially after 3, because they had done 1, 2, and 3 that all felt pretty similar. And he was like, we wanted to take it in a different direction. And so he was like, I'd been wanting to play with comedy, and there was like comedy inherent in the premise, right? Which is what we went with. And I think that's kind of what it is too, is like, you're just poking fun at yourself for the premise, and I love it.
They didn't do it.
They did not.
It was that easy. It was just that easy.
They did not. Let it be known, mark me, that these kids are innocent. You can go. Goodbye.
And then after all of that, this huge scene, all of these bodies, all of these deaths, how about why their friend jumped out of their van holding a gun and then got hit by a truck? Like, they don't have to answer to any of it. They don't even get any medical treatment. They just kind of limp home.
They do limp away.
And that's that.
That's a happy ending, dude.
Yeah.
That is a fucking happy ending. Yes. For this couple. You never get that. You never get it in a horror movie.
No, this was great. Because you're like, how are they going to get away with this? Oh, they did. Awesome.
Didn't do it. Innocent. Something else that I feel like is ridiculous. There are a few things, but one of them is just like, these motherfuckers are getting pulled over every 20 minutes. Like, that is like, that is the how we drive the plot forward, is they get pulled over over and over again.
Yes, that's true. Again and again and again. Oh, shit. Oh, my God. That's funny.
I was like, how many fucking times? This is like the 3rd time they're getting pulled over. The other thing that I thought was really funny is I love how, I mean, maybe, again, this was a lot, but 98 wasn't that long ago. But I'm like, this guy is like, $1,000? That's enough money to start over. I'm so
glad you mentioned this. I was sitting there. Okay, so TT was with me, and he goes, yeah, they gave me $500. I'll get another $500 when I go there. And then I'll get us a down payment on an apartment. And then I will get a job. I'll put you through college. He's listing all this stuff. And I look at TT and I'm like, it's not how it works. So I don't know. When you're a teenager, don't get any ideas. This plan is not going to work.
This is a bad
plan.
First of all. They don't have enough money for any of this, okay?
None of it. They're going to spend most of it on gas. Yeah. I know gas prices were cheaper back then, but still, that was a big-ass van, old van, and, gas prices were, whatever, comparable to whatever you're making and stuff like that. Even if he found a little place that he was able to put that money down for down payment, it's going to be all the money. And you don't even have a job yet. You're very confident. What job?
I know.
You're just going to get this job. What job were you doing? What was he doing? He was
good question. I don't even know.
Because did he
even have one?
For some reason, I felt that he was just cleaning his car, maybe. Maybe he wasn't.
Yeah.
So he didn't even have a job yet, unless the job market was just booming. Maybe it was booming back then. Where did they go? New Jersey. New Jersey. That's expensive out there. Anyway.
Yeah.
It's not
Did not make any fucking sense. Not how it works.
As he's talking, but you know why we forgave it? Because that is exactly, to this day, how a teenager would think.
Totally.
I remember 100%. Thinking that, we could go away and get an apartment. We could do this and that. No, they have no idea really what it's like to be out there paying bills and working jobs.
Totally. No idea how much stuff actually costs. Like, you're right. It's good. It makes sense for the character in the situation that they're in. So you're like, sure. But I thought it was very funny. It was like,
it's so great.
This guy's acting like $1,000 is going to be like
life-changing.
$10,000. Like, yeah, it's enough to move to a different city, to change your names and start over. Okay.
And just bring a little duffel bag with you. That's all you need.
Right.
I remember when our oldest was telling us, I maybe I want to go. She was in high school and she's like, maybe I want to go to college in California and me and my best friend are going to get an apartment. And so then Steve said, all right. And then he laid it all out. So not only the things you realize, he's like rent and food. How about that phone bill you don't pay for? How about your car insurance?
Yeah.
How about he listed it all out and they're like, I mean, maybe we won't go to California. She didn't. Spoiler alert.
Right. Maybe not there. Maybe not California.
Maybe full scholarship in the same state. That's where we're going.
Right. That's where we're headed financially here.
I can say this is one movie. I didn't take any notes. I forgot to. Like, I was just fully engaged watching the movie. I didn't feel one moment. I just enjoyed the whole experience. And I just laughed and smiled with everything to the very end when that baby came out. I was so happy. The baby came out. And Ashley, like when the doll was going, when she was going, well, actually before that, because the cop is going towards the doll and poking her. And Ashley's like, I'm not going to watch because she's going to come back alive, because of the jump scare.
Yeah.
And then she did. And then the baby came and she goes, she could hear the baby and she's like, oh, the baby. She goes, that baby's going to bite the cop. And I'm like, yes, it is. And then the baby launches at the cop. And I was like, yay.
I live for this, like, you and TT watching experience. Like this, I wish I could be there to experience this.
One day, she will happily watch Chucky. And I'll be like, that's Tawny's favorite. She already knows. And we could watch it together. We'll be together. Yeah,
so fun.
Yeah, she didn't have totally the same experience as you. Like when that whole bed scene, let's say, she just doesn't look and she's like, Mom, what's happening? And I'm like, Tiffany killed him. But not like how or anything like that. Oh.
Oh man, that whole scene is wild too with the sex later.
Oh, the doll sex is so good.
Yeah. Oh, it's so good. I again watched an interview with Don Mancini, and he was talking about, because the person interviewing him says, how did you decide how far to go with that scene? Like, where, was there ever a point where you thought you were going to go full Team America? Is that other doll movie? I haven't seen it, but I think you actually see the dolls having sex. And he was like, no. Don was like, the thing is, like, we are going for, like, we're making fun of a romantic movie. And so he's like, there's even the shot of him, like, unzipping the dress and you see just, like, a hint of Tiffany's butt crack. And like, it's just, he's like, we modeled it after that. And so it's not funny. It's, like, more funny if you don't go as far with it. And so that's why it's all done in silhouette, because it really is supposed to be this, like, romantic scene. And I just thought that was, like, really brilliant. Like, I think...
Yeah.
There does seem to be a good eye for comedy, I think, as far as, like, Don Mancini looking through the lens of genre at this movie,
Yes. And I loved all the comments they made. I thought the dialogue between them leading up to it was really good, too. It's, if I'm, wet, like I'm crying, I wonder if my other, pipes
plumbing works.
Plumbing. And then he's, and then when she says, do you have a rubber? And he's like, babe, look at me. I'm all rubber. Oh, God.
The delivery is, top notch.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Is your favorite kill the bed? The mirror bed?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't think so. I think my favorite kill was probably the nails to the face.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. What would you say?
I was going to say nails to the face. even though it didn't kill him. Then they get killed later. But that was, I just loved that with all the nails and his distorted face. I thought that was great. And then it would be most definitely the mirror bed, because I really liked all the scenes after, like when the maid comes in and she's stepping in the glass and all the bloody water and stuff like that. I thought that was really great.
Yeah. Yeah, I do feel like there's some creative deaths, and I feel like that itself becomes a joke, right? They're joking about, like, don't be predictable. A note that I have on one of those, I have a section of notes that are like nods or Easter eggs to either other Child's Play movies or other horror movies. So when Chucky decides to kill Chief Kincaid, he first picks up a ball-peen hammer, only to put it down when Tiffany remarks that it's predictable. So in the original Child's Play, which we talked about, Chucky kills his first victim by hitting her in the head with a ball-peen hammer, which sends her flying out the window, as you'll remember.
Yes, I remember. Oh, that's great. I love these. Do you have more little Easter eggs or anything?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll tell you some more of these. So the date on Tiffany's newspaper clippings at the beginning of the movie and the date of death on Charles Lee Ray's tombstone is November 8th, 1988, which is the release date of the first Child's Play movie.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. In addition to all of those other like slasher things in the evidence locker, it sounds like there is also the crate from the movie Creepshow. I didn't pick up on this one, but...
Oh, me neither.
Yeah, we'd have to go back and look for it.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the last like Easter egg thing that I have is there's a character in the film named Damien Baylock. In The Omen from 1976, the satanic child is called Damien, of course, while his evil nanny is called Mrs. Baylock.
Oh, okay. I caught the Damien. I didn't know if that's what they were going for, but the Baylock, oh, nice.
Yeah, I liked that too. Because Damien, I just felt like it was like a predictable goth name. You know, like, I don't know. I just didn't even think much about it, but I
two
like
names when
there.
I hear them. Damien, I think of Omen, and Malachi, I think of Children of the Corn.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about Malachi.
So whenever I hear, I believe the Bible names, I know Malachi is, but I think of Children of the Corn.
Yeah. Rhoda. Rhoda will never be anybody's name but that girl Rhoda in the bad seed.
Exactly.
The last piece of trivia that I have that I think is interesting to note is there was a planned album of love songs featuring Brad Dourif and Jennifer Tilly singing as their doll counterparts, Chucky and Tiffany. It's revealed in the movie commentary that Tiffany was going to sing Killing Me Softly with his song. Chucky was intended to sing House of the Rising Sun, and the two were to share a duet of Hit the Road, Jack. But they didn't do it? I guess not, but they fucking should. Yeah, that would have been so fun and cute. It's like, it seems perfect, actually. It seems like a perfect fucking thing to do. I don't know why. I think maybe because Brad Dourif, I think, has done a bunch of, like, theater type stuff. Like play type stuff. So I don't know, I just buy it. And I'm like, yeah, this guy would sing. You know? He'd do a musical number. Yeah. And I think Jennifer Tilly would also. They were really into music when they played the song inside of the van. And this made me feel so nostalgic. It was Thunder Kiss by White Zombie. And I loved that album when it came out. And I loved that song. I played it over and over and over and over again. Yeah, there's the other Living Dead girl also at the beginning. Is that the song name? Living Dead Girl? I think so. Oh, okay. I thought I was trying to think about a Living Dead girl. Sorry. I gotcha. No. Yeah, by Rob Zombie. Oh, yes. Because White Zombie is the band, right? Yeah, and Rob Zombie is the solo. Yeah, that's why I got confused for a second. I'm like, am I saying this right? Yeah, White Zombie is a band, and Rob Zombie is, Rob Zombie. Yeah, him doing it solo. Him, that guy. When that song hit, Living Dead Girl, right in the beginning, I got like full body chills. Nice. When she like picks up Chucky and like takes off. I was like, yes, we're in it. We're in this movie.
Oh, man. I know exactly what you're talking about. When she's walking out of the thing. It's so good.
Yeah. Okay, let's rate it.
Yeah, let's do this.
Okay, you want to go first?
Yes. Okay, I am going to give this movie a 4. I'm going to give it a solid 4. I do believe the first one has so much nostalgia for me, and that one I gave a 4.5. But when I was looking at the different 4s that I had, even things like we're talking about Swallow, like some really great intense movies, I enjoyed it just as much as I did those movies. It was so much fun. So I'm going to give it a 4.
Okay. I was thinking I was going to do a 4.25, but I think I'm going to do a 4 also. Because I also gave the original 4.5 because I just love it. I love this one for nostalgic reasons too. And I love this movie, but I don't love it as much as some of the others in the franchise. And I think it's because of this like a little bit of a comedic tone shift, even though I like it and it's funny to me. I will say that I think I prefer the scarier side of Chucky, which you get in 1, 2, and 3. And then I think maybe comes back around in the later ones, like after Bride and Seed of Chucky. Just because he's so sinister, I really like those. So I think I got to leave some room for the other installments when we ultimately get to them. So I'm also going to do a 4.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Leaving some room there between the two. So, all right, we're on the same page. Awesome. All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. We hope you loved it. I don't want any hate mail about TT liking Chucky. Next week, we are going to be watching Annabelle 2 Creation. And this was actually brought to us. We're going to have a guest. Her name is Shay Warren, and she is a fitness extraordinaire, personal trainer. Super fun. She actually reached out to us and was like, point blank, I love horror. I absolutely want to be on your show to talk about horror. Please, let's connect. We're like, all right, let's do this. So she brought Annabelle 2 Creation. So we're going to be talking about that next week. And if you like us, please do follow us on Instagram at twochicksandahorrorflick, or search for us on your favorite social media platform and follow us there. What else, Tawny?
You can support the show by going to our Patreon or giving us a like, review, and subscribe on whatever podcast you're listening to us on. That's it. So we'll see you next week. We hope you have such a good night. No nightmares.